Reality is a strange thing. Everything looks very solid and permanent, but when you go through a spiritual awakening, like on the twin flame journey, you suddenly realize that reality is not quite what they taught us in school. What we know as reality can become very unreal and dreamlike, so what is going on? It is said that the world is an illusion, a spiritual insight that runs like a common thread through all teachings. On the level of directly experienced perception alone, this cannot be denied. Modern sciences like quantum physics, psychology, and neurobiology confirm what the sages of history passed down to us in their writings. In this video we are not going to talk about what illusion translated into modern terms means, we are going to look at some concrete facts that will shake your understanding of reality. So, let us get started.
Behind reality lies infinity and eternity, where the soul is at home, which is why it is worth taking a look behind the scenes of reality. Spiritual teachings provide answers where the answers of science end, but together with modern research, a completely new perspective opens up. When we metaphorically place reality under a microscope and examine it more closely, not much of our understanding remains intact. The answers do not become fewer, only the questions multiply. Did you know? You are blind for about 40 minutes every day without noticing it. Every time your eyes blink, the brain shuts down visual processing. This phenomenon is called saccadic suppression. The brain simply blocks out what it cannot process and fills the gap seamlessly. You think you are watching reality live, but what you see is an image that your brain reconstructs with about 80 milliseconds of delay. That is not much, but you could say you are looking into the past, just as people say you are actually looking into the past when you gaze at the stars. And you are not looking directly into the space of reality as if through a window. Perception deceives us. Light enters the eye, is converted into electrical signals, and the brain creates an image. What you see is an image that forms inside your head, an interpretation of reality filtered through our sense organs. Swap those out, and the world suddenly looks completely different. Because nothing looks the way you see it, it is only your interpretation of reality. A bee sees ultraviolet light. A snake sees infrared. Colors, shapes, and brightness are evolutionarily shaped perceptions, not an objective reflection of reality. Creatures with different sensory organs exist in a completely different world, even though they share the same one as us. It is also fascinating that most of what we see is emptiness. Matter makes up only about 5% of the universe. The rest is dark energy and dark matter, and even a single atom consists of 99.9% empty space. And even this seemingly solid matter is not solid at all. On the quantum level, particles exist as probability waves, not as fixed objects. As Tesla noted, everything is energy, frequency, and vibration, which is why both physics and esotericism speak of vibration and frequency as the fundamental structure of reality. And that is why this frequency topic is so important on the twin flame journey. The visible reality is only a small section of a larger, invisible reality. Our eyes perceive only a narrow strip of the electromagnetic spectrum. There is a strong probability that we exist in a multidimensional being, and that this world is only one of infinitely many worlds. There could even be universes with completely different physical laws, with a form of life that would seem entirely alien and unreal to us. But it gets much crazier. It is not even certain whether all of this is of natural origin and not of a technical nature. A world built from energy and information, from light condensed into form, a world full of numbers, repeating patterns, and structures. Check out my book or the videos of the Twin Flame Matrix series if you are ready to look deeper behind the veil of reality. Time is relative. That is not a metaphor. That is physics. The stronger a gravitational field, the more slowly time passes. Near a black hole, it would almost stand still. Condensed matter bends space and time itself. And behind physical reality, beyond matter, space and time, lies something that knows neither beginning nor end, eternity and infinity as the fundamental structure of being. Aldous Huxley, Bergson, and later also Rick Strassman put forward the thesis that the brain is not a generator of consciousness, but a valve for it. It filters out a much larger reality so that we can function. In awakening, in dreaming, in the near-death experience, or in the mystical state, this filter falls away. There are many words that all describe the same thing. Understanding consciousness is the key. And you can even experience how reality actively responds to consciousness. Because then there is something else that science has not yet been able to fully explain. Coincidences and synchronicities that do not feel like coincidences. You think of someone, and at that very moment that person calls you. You keep seeing the same number exactly in the moment when you are thinking about something specific. A dream that mirrors itself in waking life shortly afterward. Carl Gustav Jung called this phenomenon synchronicity, meaningful coincidence that cannot be explained by cause and effect, but by a deeper order behind events. And this is exactly where it gets interesting. If perception is a construction, if particles only collapse into fixed form through observation, if time is relative, why should events be strictly linear and separate from one another? Synchronicities could be a tear in the veil, a brief moment in which the deeper structure of reality becomes visible. On the twin flame journey, exactly these kinds of moments accumulate, and that is no coincidence. When consciousness, the soul, awakens, you experience the unity of all things. How else could the world respond to you in this way? So far, so good, but consciousness becomes even more mysterious and mystical when you direct your gaze completely inward. And when your third eye is open, you see patterns and entire worlds that are incredibly more complex than anything you see in physical reality. I also think this is why the Gnostics speak of the world as merely a poor copy of true reality. If this topic interests you, check out the video Darkroom Meditation on my channel, where I share my own personal experience with it. There are many more examples I could name that turn our understanding of reality upside down. The well-known Mandela effect would be one of them. It is about collective memories of other timelines. I also remember very clearly that the Monopoly man had a monocle. When I look at images of the packaging today, he looks very strange to me without one. I see a very clear image of the old version in my head. Quite strange. Timelines, but actually you could say all kinds of multidimensional activity are directly connected to consciousness. I have had my own experiences with that as well, and I will be making a video about the whole topic soon. This video has shown how complex and mysterious the world, the whole paradox of existence, truly is when we simply shift our perspective and gain a broader overall view. And from this perspective, things appear in a completely different light. You also begin to recognize that the shadows of this world are only temporary.
When you understand so-called reality better, you also understand the phenomenon of twin flames better, but there is much more to discover. If you are interested in the metaphysics, the background, and my story, then take a look at my book Twin Flame Gnosis. You will find the links in the description and on my channel. See you in the next video.